Testing. Hey. Good morning, guys. Let me know if you guys hear me okay. Somebody ping me in chat. Very good. Let's do share sound. All right, you guys seeing the screen? Okay. All right, we'll give it a few more minutes, let people scroll in. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm a little bit under the weather today, so I'm not, I'm going to try and do whatever trades we can today, but I'm going to just actually talk a little bit about some more interesting insights that I had of this over the setup that I think is kind of like a sort of a final filter that I really like, and I'm just going to go through some more thoughts I had about how to trade the setup on an intraday basis. And we'll see whatever sets up whatever trades. As I said, my apology, I'm very low energy today because yesterday I was in the city. It kind of got cold, and I think it got really chilled. And I really don't think I have COVID, but I do think I may be coming down with a cold, which is just as miserable for me. So whenever I'm in this kind of mood, it's never a great idea to trade fully. But anyways, let me go full screen here just to see what's setting up just as we are as we're opening up. So
Canada reversal buy signal, trend is weak sell.
Okay, Canada is weak sell. It's actually trend is weak buy here. It's a weak buy. It's a wrong thing. So what I was going to say that I think that I found very interesting. Let me see. Was everybody in the room now? Finally. Okay, people are straggling in still. Okay, I'll repeat this later. But to those of you guys who are young, who are here, what I found really interesting as far as looking at trades, and this is pretty universal against FX as well as indices, is when we get, so we have, I guess this is opening round NAS arrow, is how like we have this rule of like, if it's strong trend, we trade the first signal, and if it's a weak trend, we trade the second signal, right?
German buy continuation, trend is strong buy.
Okay, let's take a look at German. Let's see if there's a trade here. No. Yeah, there actually is. So German we're in a strong buy in the German. It's really, everything is reversing. It's doing its usual up down, but I'm actually going to trade the German to the upside here, because the setup, if we get the usual reversal setup, this is a buy trend. And what I was going to say is, our rule was we have strong trend, we go the first signal, it's weak trend, we go to second signal. But then I started taking a look at the charts, and I realized something very interesting. I realized that especially during the high liquidity times, it's always pays to wait for the second signal. In other words, the second signal, in other words, you have the first signal and you have to say this is the second signal.
Russell trend, NASDAQ trend, weak sell.
Okay, Russell and NASDAQ all turn negative. And this actually, I think, turns negative now, so we don't have a trade, so I'll cancel it. But in a general sense, what we are doing every single day is trading continuity. We're trading the continuity of trend. That's our whole setup, is to pick up the continuity of trend. And if that's the case, it makes imminent sense to wait for the second candle, the second reference point, to confirm that continuity. Because sometimes we'll get the first signal, and then you get a reversal. But if you have a second signal, the chances that this is a genuine trend, and therefore the continuity is a high probability trade, becomes even stronger. So I sort of created this mental shortcut for myself of what I call 2 and 2, which is take the second signal and do on this is obviously on the 1 minute chart, and do only two trades per cycle, per continuity cycle in each trade. And if you sort of stay
NASDAQ trend, Strong buy.
I'll look at a NAS. I need NAS completely turn around. Look at this bullshit move. So true. So so obvious. You know what? This is not a. This is just me specking. But let's take the. I'm going to try to take the high over here of the NAS. This is not a legitimate trade, but just fun for the open. Let's see if they're going to run the highs. Basically, the idea here is they took it down, they took it up. We have had pretty strong risk on trades pretty much most of the day. So the general trend is up. So let's see if they want to run it even higher on the NAS. If they can't take out the highs, then that's it. That's all that it took out. If there's a chance to take out the highs, then the chance of continuity is strong. Same principal idea, but just a variant of what we do. But my point is, like, this whole 2 and 2 is a really interesting shortcut, and we can take a look at the charts, and I can show you where waiting for the second signal really pays off, and obviously curbing your, in strong trends, curbing your trade setups to just 2 trades per slice per trend also pays off, because you're trying to capture the absolute sweet spot, the middle portion of that move, which has obviously the highest probability of the move. You're not too early, you're not too late, you're just right there for the middle, which is what we really want to be in. So nothing going on over here. Just so far it's kind of quiet. Let me just see what the German is doing. German is going negative. German really reversed. Euro has no trades. So Euro is a great example of what I'm talking about, where you have trends, right? So basically, in this case, weak trend, strong trend loses a lot of its meaning, right? So on the short-term basis, it doesn't really matter whether you have a strong trend or weak trend. What matters much more is that you have a 2-point reference confirmation. So 1 point, 2 point, boom. Look how easy it is to make this trade. This trade just essentially becomes a pure profit trade from the moment go. There's very, very little retrace on the move. Whereas here, you have a little bit of retrace, right? Still a little bit of hesitation. Could this have been a complete reversal? Sure, it could have been. So the point being is that the second entry gives you a higher chance of confirmation. Here's another good example of where you get tripped. This is first entry, uptrend. Let's just imagine this is a strong trend, whatever. We take the trade here because that beats the high, and then it eventually retraces. I think you still survive the move, but look at the amount of angst you have to endure to survive the eventual reversal. Whereas here, if you're only taking the second signal, you never get tripped. The second signal never trips. So you're just no harm, no foul, right? And you're left essentially alone. So it's just an interesting way of looking at this stuff that I found kind of informative from this perspective. It doesn't always protect you, because you can easily see here that you have lots of chop over here that still traps you. So this is a sell signal. This is a buy reversal. It's still a downtrend. You would have said, oh, it's there's been 2 signals, kind of confirmed a down move. I'm not sure where the trade would have been. Probably would have been over here. It wouldn't have been enough. You closed at 25 and went down to 22 or 23, and then just completely reversed on you. One of the things, by the way, that I try to use in this particular structure, this is sort of, I started doing this on my own account, is, especially if I'm in the first cycle move, right? And I get into a trade, let's say I get into a short trade, and then the moving averages turn positive. So that means trend completely reverses on me, right? If that's the case and it stays like that for a candle or 2, I just close it out. Like your whole trade has already been negated. Here, you would have only lost like 5 points, because you don't need to endure. Like when you're doing this kind of a setup, you don't need to endure lots of negative movement against you. If the market is showing you that it's reversed, then you don't have to wait for the full stop out to get out. It gets it much more dynamic in terms of your management of structures. So NAS kind of died out after the first pump. Dow is negative. German is negative. Now, if German comes up with a reference point here, we could take the German to the downside here, because that would be effectively a second reference point. And if that gets beaten, then we have a probability that it goes to the downside. It generally looks like to me, well, everybody's waiting because I think Yellen comes in at 10 o'clock. So, we're today in one of those really, really funkadelic trade patterns where nothing much happens until we get the event. And then, the event itself is, could be problematic. But if you look at
Russell buy reversal. Trend is weak sell.
okay, if you look at, let me just pull this out here. This is dollar Canada. So, so what I was going to say is, let me look at NASDAQ. I was going to say is, the other thing that's important is to trade this pretty much during the high liquidity times and determine when the high liquidity times are. Actually, it's easier for me, if you don't mind. I'm going to do this on the futures because I'm sort of, this is what I'm looking at every day. So if I'm looking at futures, right, the key thing about the high liquidity times is that, to me, this is all New York time. The high liquidity time is really, I sort of like really, really refined it in equities of 6 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Pound reversal buy signal, trend is weak sell.
Is about 5 hours, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m., which is effectively, I believe, about 10 o'clock in the morning London till about London close, right? It's actually sort of the best time to trade almost anything is that starting from mid-morning London till about London close, because then you get the greatest intersection of capital flows. Like, everybody is going to clear through London in Asia and Europe, and of course everybody's going to clear through New York in North America. So you get like the biggest flows coming through during that time. And regardless whether you're trading FX or you're trading equities, that is, I think, the sweet spot of when you want to be involved. So if you're sort of looking at these are the hours, then you can see how well this sets up. So you have signal 1, signal 2, right? Signal 1, signal 2.
German buy continuation, trend is weak buy.
I'm not sure even if this triggered, I think, so what was the low here? 1325, and the close here was 13. Let's say that triggered. Yeah, that did trigger. So yes, it goes against you quite a lot, but not so much. It doesn't even go against you 10 points. It only goes about 8, 9 points before it finally comes in and collapses, right? And it drops hard. And then this goes to my 2 and 2 position. So you've done first trade. Now you can do the second trade. Here's the trade here. You would have taken this. This is a entry over here, and here you have 5 points to the downside. That just makes it a quick 5 points, and that's it. And you walk away. And you walk away from there's no more downside trends. Now you look for change of trend, change of trend. Nothing much going on over here because you don't have any continuity signals, right? As a matter of fact, you still don't even have continuity signals now, as everybody's kind of chopping. Today is that kind of a day. But if you look, and I'm happy to take a look at the trading view charts. Just a sec. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I'm gonna sneeze. My apologies. I'm just like feeling so under the weather right now. Oh, German. So German's got a second sell. Let's get underneath the German. So we're gonna try and sell the German below there. Okay, so we'll sell it through the lows. If it closes through the lows around 44s, we'll get there. We'll take that trade because that's consistent with the idea that we have some continuity here. Euro has nothing. Pound has nothing. So pound would need a second arrow, second reference point for us to consider a trade. Canada has nothing. Canada has just pretty much nothing. NASDAQ has nothing. Everybody's putzing around. And German is just hanging in there. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Any questions on what I just said, guys? Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Does it help you to have that 2 and 2 mental shortcut in your head? Hey, Demetrius. God. I was so proud of myself that I wasn't going to get sick this whole season, but man. Okay, so this looks like, let's see if the German does anything here. We got 41 seconds, so a long time to go. So we'll see. Oh. Okay. Okay. I have the just watching the German here to see if anything completes. Doesn't look like it's going to complete. Okay. So we're going to let the German go. That trade is just going to float. That order is going to float until we get new positioning. I'm not triggered, baby. So not taking it. Let's wait, because this is the reason why we wait. It's got to close through. If it hasn't closed through, not enough power here to take us down. It may be a good entry, but not our entry. But what I was going to say is, let's just you can see, I'm going to take you through the futures on last week, just to show you the 2 and 2 concept, right? So again, while I'm saying 6 to 11 New York time, which is like is that like 10, or is it, let's say, 11 o'clock till about
Russell trend, week by
1600 hours, something like that. I forgot what it is in London right now. Is the ideal time. You certainly have, like, Asia session certainly gives you a chance, especially when you get strong trend moves. But my point is, look at how much better a pickup the second move in the trade is. It's just a cleaner straight up move here, right? Negative sell, positive sell. First buy, you ignore that. Second buy,
NASDAQ trend, week sell.
A little, a better entry. You have less of a retrace, more of a chance. If you come in over here, you're hanging, over the edge here from 48 all the way down to 20. No, you actually stopped out. You're stopped out on 20 here. You're at 48, you get stopped out. Whereas, in the second entry, you're at 36, right? You're at 36. And the worst it goes against you is 28, and then you're coming into the market.
NASDAQ buy, pound continuation buy signal, trend is weak buy.
Okay, pound is getting a second continuation buy signal. Let's see where the pound is. No, trend is weak sell. Oh, sorry, this is it's the wrong audible. I have some of my audibles. By the way, if you guys found my audibles to be false, please text me which ones are false, and I'll be able to correct them super fast, because there's like 8 combinations for every single instrument, and it's just incredibly annoying, because it's just clerical error of like me creating the audible. So we know that the pound audible here is clearly wrong. So it's a sell against the reverse buy. I have to redo that one. Just let me know. Let me know if you guys find it. Have anybody used the audibles yet for your trading?
Russell trend, strong sell.
Okay, so looks like we're turning negative here. German just triggered on the negative move. Looks like all the indices kind of turn negative here. So German just triggered on a pretty big dump, and we're looking for, to see if we can get some movement here. And German should be done. Okay, I'm going to take this at 3.5. I think it's the spreads that are bothering me, because I see the thing moving through the bid ask, but the spreads are like 2-3, man. I don't know what's going on with the spreads here. I think this needs to be a razor account, not a full spread account. But anyways, German has got done at +3. And again, Demetrius, this was a good, you are right that this was definitely a downtrend. And if you were over here, you certainly would have caught the full move. But the point is, we wanted the probability, the confirmation of it. So coming in here didn't hurt us. We came in, we banked money on the German. So NAS is not turning negative. Dow is turning negative. I wonder if Yellen is saying anything interesting. Let's see. Oh wow, London Metal Exchange is closing its doors. That's so sad. I'm just looking to see if there's anything on the news, but I guess not. The German, by the way, certainly would have gone for a full 5. I don't know if anybody took the full 5 on the spreads. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Demetrius. I'm not watching the news, so. Okay, Euro's negative, but no signals. Cable is down negative. You know what? I'm sorry. I missed my cable move here because I was blanking out. So this was a sell. We should have taken the sell here. So over here, we should have been in at 10, but that it would have almost cleared us down to 5. So I'm not chasing the pound. The pound was definitely a trade, and a good trade in a sense that this was the second signal. Good confirmation would have come in here, would have easily gotten us done. NAS is turning negative. Everybody turning negative. But again, what is this? Oh, so the German. German was the only one we played the script where I said if we get the second signal, we get the trigger, we get it to work, that works, and that's it. So we start with 2 and 2 at 1 and 0 to make. You got 3. Good job, Connie. Yeah, it actually went for full 5. I just I'm a little bit skeevied out by these. I got to figure out I got to figure out if I'm what's going on with this. I think these are full baked in spreads, and I want the commission spreads, because if we're trading on the 1 minute, if you're trading on a 1 minute chart, you always want the raw spreads, not the full spreads. The other thing I really like about that. Oh, good for you. Yeah, good for you, Connie. Yeah, you know how they say, it's wrong to say that you never go broke taking a profit.
Nasdaq buy reversal trend is weak sell.
I don't see the buy reversal. Oh, it must be on the CFDs, because I don't see it on the. Yeah, it's on the CFDs. And I got to tell you, so there's always a temptation to trade the reversal trades, right? Oh, hang on a second. You know what? We should trade this. This is actually, if we're trading the CFDs, let's trade this to the downside. Oh shoot, what did I just do? Never mind. I might ignore this. That's not the trade that I wanted. I want to sell. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to put this over here. So that should actually clear the sell. Where is this? Oh, at this point I'm too late. Okay, I'm gonna have to go manually. I'm gonna have to go manually on this. If this clears, it's so annoying. Sorry, I missed this. I think I'm gonna have to go manually. Yeah, so I'm selling this manually because I'm going in, because this was a buy reversal, two buy reversals in a downtrend, right? This broke the lows, I believe. I'm trading CFDs because I don't have any signals on the futures here. So the low over here was 84.3, and we came in at 81, so that's legitimate. And now let's see if this plays out. We'll see if this plays out. All right, let's see if this.
Russell cell continuation. Trend is strong buy.
All right, I'm gonna take. Fuck. All right, sorry. That was only +2. I want to take 3.5 just because again I'm looking at the spread. I gotta fix my spreads on this thing, but it's that it was close enough. All right. So we're dicking around today. We're just picking up. But again, to me it's more important to see the setup actualize itself right now than just to pick up as many points as possible. Even though I'm pretty sure this is going to go full 5 if you're hanging in it. I'm having. I don't know if it's me or because I'm like delirious with my sickness. I'm just a little bit out of sync. It looks like it's going to go down. Yeah, it's going to go down to full 5. I really need to give this a little more room here, but I'm having a hard time with the spread. So now it goes full 5. If you guys stayed in, you certainly got the full 5. I only got 2 on that one, so that sucks. But anybody else pick up the? Yeah, a good 3. Okay, good for you. But it really had the full potential for 5. I really blew that one up, but and it goes further, and you can just tell. And again, so what's really interesting about this, and what's so fascinating, right? And this is where I really love. I mean, this is why when you look at the setup over and over and over again, and you get very intimate with it, and you sort of know every crook and cranny, and you understand the mechanics of it, you hopefully gain more and more insights. And this was the insight that I really gained that I thought made a lot of sense, which is the underlying mechanics of this setup is continuation trade. And the underlying
Dow buy reversal trend is weak sell.
And the underlying mechanics of the continuation trade is actually continuation of price. So instead of being fearful of the second or the third signal, you should welcome that, because that is effectively a confirmation of the trend which you're trying to capture. Actually, I think the reason why I came across this idea, I've been listening to Jack Schwager's Market Wizard books on audio while I walk the dogs. Now, what's fascinating is that these books have been around for like 30 years. I've read them like at least 15 times, each one of these books. But it's fascinating when you read them now, kind of older, and you have a lot more experience in the markets. And there's sort of the underlying theme in almost everybody who talks about really capturing the money in the markets, is that you are never too late. That the fear of being too late, because the first move is not the last move, right? Like whether these guys are trading sometimes multi-month moves or multi-year moves, but the first move is never the last move. And I think the biggest mental block for almost all of us, or certainly from the retail side, is that, oh, I missed the move, I want to get out, and not taking all these guys almost always jump on, not at the turn, but at the meat of the move. When the move is well established, and when all the retailers are already like, oh, it's done, I'm going to go the other way, I'm going to short it, right? So I think it's kind of interesting. The same mentality helped me isolate this little tweak, which I think is a really good one. Let's see if we got anything else. So I have Dow on the first signal on the Dow, no secondary. I'm looking for a second signal on the Dow. The German, by the way, just we had like 40 points of movement in German. Which, by the way, this is the other thing that not my style, and not I don't know there are lots of people in this room that may have that style, is almost every trade that we make has a potential to turn into a much bigger trade if you do a multi exit structure. My whole game plan here is to teach you the setup, to teach you the entry, because if I can teach you the entry, you can then completely innovate your own exits. You can create exits that are much larger, much bigger than mine. But to do that, to be able to capitalize on the exits, you have to have the entry cold, right? It's like you have to have the fun. Like you got to be able to hit the jump shot, and after that, you can trade. You can play any way you want. So my point is that a lot of these things will extend much longer than just the initial take profit. All right, cable turning, everything turning. We got nothing. So it's we're just flopping around. The risk is kind of reversing a little bit here. It was interesting. There was a lot of short-term traders in the book that actually traded the reversal. They traded they traded this kind of a move, this move, the reversal move, which I even though I love the reversal move, I find that to be utterly unsatisfactory on this. Like within our rules, it's much better to trade continuation. Anyways. So any questions, guys? Any thoughts on your mind? Anything else you want to talk to me about? I guess we're waiting for Yellen to come in. I'm trying to see if there's anything on the news here. Hitting. Good job, guys. All of you guys are much better traders than I am today. I got to drink about 5 gallons of water and just vacate this bug out of me today. Ugh. I'm so annoyed. Sorry, guys.
Pound continuation sell signal trend is weak sell.
Oh man, this all my pound audibles are completely reversed. So this is a trend is weak buy on a sell signal. So it's actually a buy bias in the pound, sell bias in euro, German, nothing. Anybody using audibles, by the way? Has anybody input the audibles into your platforms and using them to get calls? Do you find it helpful, Karen?
Nasdaq continuation trend is weak buy.
You have to. Yeah, they do mix. You're right. That is, Cheryl. There are. Because I'm using MT5, right? Using MT5. Okay. Robin, I'm going to demonstrate for you on dollar CAD. So if you hit sell, right? The key thing is the sell price over here has to be below this price. If I hit this right now, you're not going to get the sign. That's why it turns red. If it's turning red, you have to make the price physically lower. So you have to go like 0, okay? Now it's going to appear. Now you can move it around, right? So all of this complexity, Wamban, is going to go away. We will, we'll be able to just simply hit sell. It will populate the right, like the good price, and you'll be able to just, move it around super fast. But we're working on that proposition. So right now, that's the reason. Whenever it turns red, it means that the price that you have in the box is too high for the sell or too low for the buy. Okay, it's below the market price. Does that make sense?
Canada continuation sell signal trend is weak sell.
Yeah. So the key thing is you guys have to attach the what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm gonna, when I have a little bit of time, I'm going to go through all the audibles to make sure that there's no mistakes in the audibles, and then I'll create the 5s and the 4s. I'll create the 5s and the 4s templates, and then all you got to do is just apply the templates. Because right now I gave everybody the 4 templates, but some of them are mixed. You have to make sure that you're using, like, the template is going to be like plus plus. I think it's going to be plus. Every template that has the right audible is going to have the plus plus on it. And I've actually, for my own, so in case if you
Asian trend signal trend is weak sell.
Okay, there's like a lot of audibles went off here. That's inevitable. The more instruments you have on the board, the more audibles you're going to have. It's just inevitable. What I was going to say is, Karen, you may find this interesting. So what I have here, let me just show this to you guys, is I actually have the Arrow Trader Plus the old Arrow on it. So the reason I have this, and this is interesting, is because I want to know 2 things. I want to know when there's trend change, right? Trend change. And in order to do just trend change signal, I use the old Arrow one. And if you go into properties, what I've done here is I've made them all false, except when I have the trend signal. So just if it's telling me trend signal, then I'm using the old one, because the new one does not have just trend signal. The new one has trend signal with the arrow condition. So just to get the trend signal, I use the old one in combination with the new one, which then obviously has all the trend signals in there. So I basically put everything to false except the trend signals in the new one, and so the combo of the 2 becomes my template. And that's kind of what I really want to do for you, is create that template that gives you 2 audibles. One, it tells you the audible of like, hey, trend has changed, just, because that's always really valuable to know the trend has changed. And then the second one, where it tells you, oh, now you have a reference point. What kind of a trend is it within the trend? Yamba, did you understand what I did about that? Was it clear to you? Just tell me yes, because I want to make sure that you understand why your sell buys weren't triggering. Okay, nothing going on over here so far. I'm gonna wrap it up today, guys, because I don't see anything going on that's well, we could play cable. Let's see if cable bites here for us to the upside. So we have trend, second, third signal in cable. Let's see if it wants to run for us to the upside here. No, not doing it. All right. I am going to peace out. Dow. Dow has a interesting possibility here to the downside here. By the way, I held off, like all these signals, like, this is where you have to sort of be like news aware, right? So this was a 10 o'clock signal. Her testimony just dumped. So whatever move here was going to be very problematic. You knew that, you knew it was going to be just a knee-jerk reaction. That's why I didn't take any of these signals here, even though this was a second signal. It's really not a real signal because of the move. Now, if you're looking at this, now we can sell this. Let me see if I can get this down to.
Euro reversal buy signal trend is weak sell.
Okay, let me see if I can get this to the downside here. So I'm this actually, breaking the low here, and that should be a relatively legitimate entry here. What's the low on this thing? 96. So as long as it's above 9, I need to put 96 over here. Okay. So what am I? 95. Okay, good enough. If it's breaking 95, let's see. If this doesn't, doesn't break, then that's not a sell. If it does break, then it should be a pretty legitimate sell here to the downside. Let's see if this works.
Nasdaq trend.
No.
Weak buy.
So far, no trigger. So far holding, but let's give it one more candle. But it looks like everything in Nasdaq just turned. See, you heard that audible? It says Nasdaq trend weak buy. So it just gives me a trend signal, and I really like having that audible. What does that mean? You understand, and you try to do the same. Is it not working for you? You don't do it on the chart. You do it on this. There's no such thing as doing it on the chart. You have to use the applet. Do exactly as I did this. Like, watch the video again. If you can't replicate what I did, then let me know. If you're doing something different, then I can't.
Russell buy reversal. Trend is strong sell.
Oh, the Canada. Why did Canada trigger? I didn't have a Canada. Oh, was that? It was a. The Canada trade is not a real trade. Oh, was that a Canada trade or? Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. That was a Canada trade, not a pound trade. That was a Canada trade. Oh, I totally. I didn't really. I thought I didn't realize. Okay, so that should be kind of a legitimate trade in Canada. Yeah, let's go. Let's just play around with a Canada trade. All right, I'm playing around with the Canada trade because that's actually a legitimate trade. I totally forgot. I thought it was a pound trade, but it wasn't. It was a Canada trade. All right, Nas. It looks like the Dow is going to break that level for us. Let's see if we get any movement here. Oof, they're really starting to sell it. Let's see if we're going to come in. Why did this not trigger me? Oh man, I got expired. I totally forgot. I was expired on the move here. Okay, we're gonna have to let that go. Damn, why did that expire? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why did that expire? Was that too much of a volatility move? Or maybe it was too much. It was a vol move. Sorry, never mind. It wasn't that. It was a vol filter move because this thing moved more than 20 points. The high, the low. Yeah. Oh, look at that high low. That was a 30-point move. So that actually kept me intelligently out of this trade because it was too much of a vol move. We had a 20 volatility and it was a 30-point move on this candle. So okay, never mind. The tool did its job. It just couldn't get us into a trade. Okay, NAS is a little bit firmer. Nothing very exciting here, guys. Canada is just sitting. Canada could sit here for the next 3 hours, so I'll just leave that as is. I'll let you know, where that traded out. Okay, not much going on over here. Any final thoughts? Any comments? Dow. Dow's doing nothing. I mean, like I passed on a Dow because of the vol trade, right? So now I'm gonna have to just let that go because there was no, now I have to wait for another signal for the Dow. I mean, you could have, if you ignored the volatility.
Nasdaq Dow by continuation trend is weak sell.
All right, Nas is just turning into a buy signal here. Okay, so let's see if we get a second. Let's just play this a little bit. See if we can get a second signal in Nas. And see if that trades out. All right, let's take
Russell buy reversal.
Let's take the
trend is strong sell.
Let's take the Canada for like another 2 points. I'm just like inking my way to 8 points today. Wow. It's all right. Better than nothing. And you see, that's the reason, by the way, why Demetrius, this is the reason why the vol filter is there, right? It's there to protect me from doing something stupid. The vol move here was big. It pretty much the whole profit move was inside the trigger candle. So no reason to set up. We could set up underneath here if we want to for the next cycle. But I got to go, so we're not going to play that game. Euro also has this is the German. I'm sorry, this is the German. So you could set up underneath the German for a second cycle. So this, again, going back to my whole 2 and 2 idea, we had one trade in the Euro, so we could have another trade in the, we can give ourselves a chance to do another trade in the, one trade in the German, and we can give ourselves a trade to do a second trade in the German, right? 2 trades per cycle. That's how I would use the 2 and 2 structure for the move. But we're getting nothing else, so this is pretty much it. This thing actually would have gone almost to full 5, so fine. I mean, that actually worked nicely. Sorry, I got confused with the Canada and the pound. So, all right, small day, but much more importantly, the numbers today are far less important to me than the process. The 2 and 2 process for day trading is what I really want us to start focusing on, because this is where we pick up the absolute best setups, right? Now take that idea and then just simply
Nasdaq sell continuation trend is weak sell.
Okay, so the Nasdaq right now, I'm gonna leave you guys before we do this trade, but the Nasdaq right now, this is a buy setup within our structure. It's a second signal in a trend, right? If it takes out the highs, we want to be there. So it's a legitimate trade. Want to do that, and it's all part of that. The 2 and 2 structure. We have till about another 45 minutes in what I call the big liquidity cycle, 6 to 11 in the morning. And then the second one, if you're going to trade U.S. indices, the second cycle is 1400 New York till about 1530. The last, not the absolute last 90 minutes, but the 90 minutes of the last 2 hours. You don't want to trade anything after 1530 because the markets get really wonky after that. But the end of the day liquidity is the other great idea. So that's the 2 big plays, big 2 time frames, and then within that time frames we have that 2 and 2 structure that creates the best trade opportunities for us. It keeps us out of a lot of stupid trades and just hopefully lets us, pluck out the winners as we can. And you see here, by the way, and this is a great example. It's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Going for the first trade, right, would have flipped us into possibly a loser. It's not a loser yet, but possibly a loser. Certainly a pretty big drawdown. Actually, it would have been a loser. I think probably you would have tripped into the 20s, and it's already pretty much at the you were just flipped over into the negatives, right? Whereas waiting for the second signal, if there is a second signal, hopefully puts us in a much stronger position. So the takeaway from all of this is that no need to rush. The first trade is not the final trade. It's just the beginning of the move, because we're always trading continuation of trend, and we need to have faith that the trend is going to continue much longer than we think it will. That was the big takeaway from Market Wizards, and I think it's amazing how that translates on the very, very short-term charts in market behavior, right? Hopefully you guys got a chance to see that today. As I am stumbling over my words. My apologies, guys. Hopefully I'm going to try and sleep this off today. Everybody have a great day. Any final questions, any thoughts, anything else in your minds? Hit me in Slack if you need me. Yeah, I'm sure I will. I just, frigging New York City, wintertime. I went for a walk with my daughter yesterday, completely forgetting how freezing New York can be.
Canada continuation sell signal trend is weak sell.
All right, beautiful. Oh, where's Canada? Canada doing anything? Oh no, it's just us. So Canada, by the way, would have hit TP for us, which I didn't trade. The other thing I was going to say, and this is my last thought of all of this, is very, very much personal preference. So I was trading equities and FX for like the last month contemporaneously. And I found I was actually doing very well in FX, but I found that I can't, I am a very serial person. I can only do one to two, basically I can do two instruments or two of the same type of instruments. So I'm right now, I'm just basically trading Russell and NAS. That's all I can keep an eye on. I can't really do FX contemporaneously. It just takes up my focus too much. So my point is, figure out where, if you can keep an eye on 10 different things, good for you. If you're just, if you're finding it confusing, it is much more productive to focus on one or two instruments and just try to make money in that instead of trying to make money across the board. I will have something coming. We're going to have something coming up in February. By the way, those of you who are going to be lifetime, of course, you're going to get this for free. That it's going to be a super interesting variant of all of this for much longer term timeframes with a really, really cool tool to help us do that. And that will allow you to do a whole bunch of stuff which you don't really have to, manage. But on super short-term trading, like we're doing right now, the scalping trading, you really ask yourself, should I just do one instrument or can I do multiples? Because it makes a difference in performance.
NASDAQ
That's
trend.
Great. That's
strong
perfect.
sell.
That's perfect. I'm actually curious, Demetrius, are you using the way we trade in gold using 1 minute charts on gold? And I think Karen is also trading gold too, or Connie somebody was trading gold too. And I'm just curious how, if you guys using the 1 minute charts on gold and whether a lot of these things that I talk about are helpful. I see. So you use something different in gold. Okay. Well, it's all going to be very interesting because it's certainly going to be interesting to see how we can expand this to other instruments. The interesting thing I was going to say is that on the longer term charts, this thing works on anything, on any instrument. It's fully fractal. It's just interesting to me how it would work on other stuff. Yeah, I think it does. And the reason, and I'll tell you why, Karen, because on the 1 minute charts, this system works best in ultra high liquid instruments. So, and there are really only like 3 or 4 of them. It's basically NASDAQ, Euro, Pound, DAX would meet the qualification of what I call ultra high liquid. That is, they have so much activity and so much movement that what we're doing in all of these instruments is basically we're betting 10 basis points of the net asset value, right? So if you think about it, in some of these we're actually betting a little bit more, like in the euro, it's probably 20 basis points. So you need something so ultra liquid where betting 10 basis points of
German
the
buy reversal trend is weak sell.
Will give you opportunities for movement. So that's why I don't I'm curious to see how that works in oil and gold, which are much more discontinuous markets. They have a lot more jumps. They're flat, and they have a lot more jumps. They don't have the kind of trending continuity that NASDAQ and Dow and Euro and Pound have. But definitely worth a look. I would even guess that Aussie and Kiwi would really suck on a 1 minute chart, just because they don't have the kind of continuity that the Euro does. I would say Euro Yen probably. Oh, that's interesting. Really? I had no idea. That's interesting. I had no idea. Really, Crossy? We should look at silver too. We should look at silver. We should probably, we should actually like incorporate those into the live, just to see how they're trading. I wonder if I can. I'm actually curious. I wonder if I can even get silver. Where's my silver? Does it even trade? What the fuck is silver? Is it? What's the silver? Is it XAU, XAG? Is this silver? This is silver? This must be silver. Chart window. That's silver, right? It's 25. That's actually tight spread. That's a good spread. Let's put this on here. Let's just put a let's put this on here. Wow, look at that, silver. So down, that works. 520. If you make 5 pennies against 20 pennies, yeah. What was that? Short 7, and it goes all the way down to 90. Yeah, works on a penny. So that's kind of cool. You're right, Krass. We should look at silver as another idea. Well, that's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay. Anyways, we'll look at that more. All right, guys. Everybody have a wonderful day. Look at that. NAS just, NAS died out. It's a great idea not to take the first trade. NAS really died out and basically just chopping around as everybody listening to Janet Yellen. Okay, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. Everybody have a wonderful day.
NASDAQ buy trend is strong sell.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. NASDAQ trend strong sell. All right. I will see everybody tomorrow. Thanks again. I'll post this up in just a little bit. Take care.